Hello, and welcome back to episode 5, Granny.
Episode 5. Who would have thought, honestly? Who would have thought?
I don't think people would have persevered with us to episode 5 of the worst reselling podcast ever. I'm surprised.
Yeah, we must be doing something right. Or people are super bored and they're watching anything.
Yeah, I think I might be just bored, actually, or living in fear, one of those things. I can't work it out. My head's too big. I have to make sure it gets on the frame. Like, I can't, yeah. I've got to let people know how beautiful I am.
Well, yes. But maybe you need to open your mouth a bit wider because, it's a bit hard to see your diction.
Well, that's right. Well, like I was about to say before, I was rudely cut off. One of us needs to be good looking, so I suppose.
Yeah, well, that would be me, definitely.
Well, I don't know about that. There's always a beauty in the beast, isn't there? We'll have to work out which one it is.
Yeah, well, we know who that is. So I just, usually, because you always bugger something up. So if you turn Bob off, which for anyone watching is the robo back, have you got your earpods in so you can hear me?
Sure do.
Look, and I can see him. And have you got your microphone in the right spot?
I do actually. So hopefully you can hear me this time because we've had some complaints regarding microphone. So we won't have that complaint again because those people have disappeared mysteriously. So
I don't think white van?
It could be the white van, actually. We might have to make them hostages just as a tax write-off.
You could try that. That's right. Hashtag run from the white van.
Well, that's right. Yeah, well, don't run. We might have the lollies you like. We might have some candy.
Candy.
So as for introductions, this is the ever elusive Grumpy Granny. So that's her.
That is me, Grumpy Granny from Grody's Patch.
I lost my train of thought. Yeah, I think having 9 brains, you'd know what you're talking about.
But perhaps they're getting scrambled.
Well, it could be. Yeah, that's right. It's starting to heat up here in the Octo layer, and Bermuda's a bit warm this time of the year, you see. So, I might have to go for a dip in the Octo tank later on. And I'm the Disgruntled Octopus, as you can see by our name tags. And together we make up the worst reseller podcast ever. And currently episode 5, which is surprising, like 9,000 people out there.
Yeah, like that's over a month's worth of podcasts. That's right. I
don't think other podcasts don't last a couple of weeks, so I think we're doing pretty well.
I think we're doing very well. Very surprising. Very surprising.
So we've got some church notices this week, Granny.
Have we?
Yes, we do. We've put out the white van and they've picked up our second hostage, which is obviously en route to the Octo lair as we speak. So basically, they're quite easy to capture. We just offered some Chubba Chup lollipops and they jumped in. We didn't even have to get out. So I don't know. They must be hard up at home, geez, if they want to get out that quick.
Yeah, perhaps so. Looking for a bit of excitement in their life, maybe.
It could be. The minions said they didn't even stop the van; they just jumped in. I think for a minute the minions thought they were being taken hostage.
Oh, does the van have like the ice cream music playing?
It normally does because we're not like the element of surprise. But this person, they just jumped in. Like we barely just wound the window open apparently, and they're sitting on their lap. So they thought it was going to be a reverse robbery or a reverse hostage situation.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
I know. So we'll have to work out what happens with that hostage next week. We'll have to ask them what's going on. But like I was saying to Granny before we started the podcast, I personally don't know this hostage. I've heard a little bit about them. A few of the other human resellers in the sphere have told me that they're pretty decent. They're pretty popular in the reselling community, so we're curious to see who they are. But I can't say that I've heard of them. But hey, we obviously know that they want to be taken hostage by the sounds of it.
Well, apparently. All right. Well, so do I get any hints this time?
Not at this stage because I don't know them well enough. I don't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, like I said, it's just the kind of. I think they've been around for a while, but they haven't been on my radar. Put it that way.
Okay.
So they're obviously not important enough for me to know who they are.
Oh, okay. So that's a strange choice to have someone on that you think's not very important.
Well, I don't want someone more important than me.
Okay.
We've got my ego to feed, and obviously your ego is going up now that we've got 3 more subscribers in the last week.
Well, yes, and all my social engagements that I've been fulfilling.
Yes, I was just getting to that. So I did see that the Grumpy Granny invited herself to a members only Let's Do Lunch podcast YouTube video last week. So
I did.
Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, it was good fun actually. It's an American podcast and all about women and raising women in business up and supporting them. And saw it there and thought I'd jump in and finished up with 7 of us in there, and it was great. I was the only Australian, of course, and they were a bit keen on the old Aussie accent. And
the 5 minutes that I did duck in there, I did notice the median age was about 80. So,
that's enough. That's enough. No, I was definitely the oldest one, and I did have to tell them though, because all those lovely ladies that were in there, on screen, on camera, and no lipstick.
Yeah, well, very el natural, is that they call it?
Yeah, well, probably, but it's really not the done thing, They should be at least wearing some lippy.
Well, theoretically, isn't a podcast audio only? So you're not really doing yourself up for listening.
This wasn't actually a podcast. This was a live stream, so there is a difference.
Okay. So yeah. So I must admit, I did go in there just to cause a little bit of havoc, and I did get reprimanded a few times because obviously there was a bit of a communication breakdown.
Yes.
I did hear that they liked the Australian language. So
they were a bit keen on some of the terms that we use a bit differently to what they do. Yeah. So the one example is, we have a rubber that rubs out pencil, but they use rubber as a different term. Yeah. So if you're in America, you don't say, I'm going to go and get the rubber. If you want to erase you go and get an eraser over there.
Yeah, okay. So I suppose, if you do get that, it could possibly rub out some mistakes. But hey, look, I'll leave it at
that. Might be an idea not to go any further with that.
Yeah,
and thongs was another one.
I did get reprimanded over the thongs.
Yeah, well, their thongs are a bit ruder than our thongs.
That's right. Yeah, I was just talking about flip-flops. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's where we can have nice things. So obviously we have reached out to a few of the lovely ladies on that podcast, and they have expressed their interest in being hostages as well. So
they have.
I don't know. What is it? Is all you humans bloody enamored by the octopus, or just wanting to jump in a white van? Is that what you just see a white van? You see a white van drive past, and you just got you just want to jump in.
Well, it's hard to say whether they're attracted to the candy in the white van or attracted to me or you. Like, who knows?
Possibly, it was quite possibly me, because this is one handsome-looking octopus, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, okay. I think it just must be, I think it's our magnetism of us together in the podcast, I think. How about that?
Well, it could be that. Yeah, it could be that. It could be that. But we all know it's me.
Yeah, okay. If that's what you want to go with, I'll let you.
Yeah, so we won't tell people that we've been bribing them with Tim Tams. So obviously they're a bit more expensive. They're a bit more expensive than our Chubba Chup loving Hostage 2. That's currently on the route. But so if we do have anyone sick and sad enough in the overseas that wants to jump on here, we do pay in Tim Tams. So make sure you reach out to either one of us, and we'll get you on.
And look, the only stipulation with any international guests is that we want them to actually try Vegemite live on screen.
I'm not even a monster to get them to do that. You're a horrible person.
I reckon that'd be so funny. Because you do know what they do, don't you? Like, because when generally if we're putting Vegemite on our toast, it's just a very, very thin scraping for most people. I mean, I put a little bit more on because I like it, but what I've noticed with people internationally when they go to taste it is I basically get a teaspoonful of it and try to eat that. It's
They like to live dangerously. That's all it is.
Yeah, but they've just got no idea of what they're about to put in their mouth.
I'll leave that alone as well. So if you'd like to be an international guest and be tortured by Grumpy Granny by eating 3 kilograms or 2 metric tons of Vegemite, please reach out because we'll get you on, and we'll give you some Tim Tam chasers to follow up with as well.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, will be nice.
Yeah, so Vegemite Tim Tams, I think they still make them, don't they?
Oh yeah, they did make some, didn't they? Was it those? And at one stage, I think even Twisties, they made some Vegemite and cheese Twisties.
For those that don't know, a lot of manufacturers put Vegemite in as a token ingredient. So you'll probably find Vegemite cereal, Vegemite cake. Yeah, so all these different horrible things that they think that people are going to like. I think the latest concoction was Vegemite barbecue chickens.
Oh,
yeah. So Coles
really?
doing that.
Oh,
yeah.
Interesting.
I never got around to trying it because that Coles don't generally like it. A 7-foot octopus walking through the aisles. But
well, they're probably thinking, "Well, we could get him and cut him up and put him in the deli."
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. Yeah, but this octopus fights back, unfortunately. So unlucky for them. So anything else is new?
Well, it does remind me to ask you: have you arranged your tentacles properly today?
I have, yes. I'm not sitting on them today. Last week, I sat on them and they went dead. So I got up and fell over because I couldn't walk. Yeah. So, yes. So I strongly suggest don't sit on your tentacles.
Okay. Well, I can't sit on my tentacles because I don't have any. But yeah, okay, I'll take that on.
Yes, yeah. So take it under advisement just in case one day you wake up as an octopus. So, anything else been new, Grumpy Granny?
Anything else that's been new? Well, good week on eBay this week. I've got some really good sales and nice little international sales. I actually sold a antique, The Last of the Mohicans, this week, which was great, going to America. So that was a really good one. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
But yeah, apart from that, look, and I did have to get some new rollers. So I've got purple ones today because my hair's getting a bit long for the normal rollers, so I had to buy some new rollers for longer hair.
She's still trying to market the Grumpy Granny's roller. She doesn't sound like she's doing a very good job. Yes.
Well, there'll be nice bright colours though when I do get them.
Yeah. Well, like I said, bring them in, and I checked our YouTube demographic, and we got a couple of. I think 20% of our viewership's over 65, so you might have a market for rollers, I think. Yeah.
Instant market. You never know. Yeah. You never know.
That's right. Maybe they do think I'm 88 and I'm just attracting the old people.
Oh, yeah. The only trouble would be, I guess, if I start marketing them, I would nearly have to do make a tutorial video, wouldn't I?
Yeah, well, that's right. Well, it gives you something else to talk about, isn't it? You can have your own. You can have your own roller club of the month. You just send out different type of rollers every month. That's right. Subscription.
That's a good idea. Yeah. I like that idea.
If we're not going to get donuts, we might as well just create our own business idea.
Yeah, where are the donuts? That's what I want to know.
For those that aren't in on the inside joke, we've got a accountant over here that promised us donuts, and this is the 5th week without said donuts. So, Ethan Rushock, if you're listening or watching, where is our donuts?
Yes, so we're not going to mention Ethan Rushock on our podcast because we're not getting donuts, and we should be.
That's right. So once he comes to the party and we get our donuts from Donut King, no less. We won't accept anything else. No cheap Woolworths ones.
No.
We'll discuss about him. So he's actually doing pretty well. So, so go over and watch his content, subscribe to his channel, and then basically just put in his comments, where's the donuts?
Yes. # where are the donuts?
That's right. So he'll obviously be bullied into buying us $8 worth of donuts.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, so we're quite cheap. We're easily bought.
We don't cost much to bribe.
No, that's right. So if you've got anything unethical or stuff that will probably hurt people that you want to market, come through us. We probably won't charge you much more than a $6 donuts. That's right.
Yep.
So I suppose for myself, it's been a bit busy with my world domination aspirations this week. eBay has been pretty well up here as well. So for those that aren't aware, that July is generally the tax time for Australia, so a lot of the tax checks are rolling in. We do see a bit of a spike in sales around the July-August period before we roll into Q4.
Yes.
So I think a lot of our sales have been driven by that at the moment. As to further than that, I graced a lot of our viewers last night on the Uncle Wayno's channel. So Uncle Wayno does a live every 6 weeks. I think it's supposed to be a weekly event, but I don't think he does it very weekly, does he?
No, he tends to be a little bit sporadic, I suppose, would be the terminology I would use. You never know when it's going to be on or when it's not. It's a good show and, quite fun. Apart from, do we want to talk about what's grinding my gears right now?
No, not yet. Not at all. We'll get to that later. So basically...
Yeah, we will get to that because, the podcast, the live stream last night grinded my gears at one point.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure there's a legitimate reason for that. But, yeah, so Chris Furlong and John the Reseller were on there last night. So if you don't know either of those, have a look at their channels. John the Reseller, you might remember him from our hostage video from a couple of weeks ago. So if you haven't checked that out, check it out because it was a fantastic video. Well, it's our best performing video so far.
It is, yes.
Yeah. We won't say it was John. We'll say it was the title and the thumbnail. I think that sounds more. Then we'd have to pay him any royalties. We'd have to pay him any royalties then. So,
and even in the live stream last night, John's kids came in to say goodnight, and they were quite taken with the orange thing in the live stream.
So obviously I've never seen what an octopus is before, so I do feel sorry for those kids. But
well, I actually do think they might have seen an octopus before, and that's why they couldn't work out what you were.
Well, obviously they haven't seen a good-looking octopus. So if you haven't seen John before or Chris, have a look at their channels. I'll have them linked below. And I think further to that, Grady, I think they're doing some more content. Like we'll talk about this last week, that maybe we should have some content towards the end of the week just to break it up and freshen up the channel. So
yes,
I went and raided a local graveyard and dug up something I could use. I think.
I think
I can be able. I'll be able to go out shopping with these.
You've got some hands, so you can go and do some picking.
Yeah, so I can do picking videos now. So what do you think about that? Do you reckon that'll be
I think that would be a hit. Absolute hit, I think.
Yeah, because it's very hard to get through the racks when you got these.
Yes.
Yeah, so and like wearing a trench coat and a hat, it gets a bit hot in the op shop. So I think with my new hands that I dug up, I'll be able to go through the racks.
Yeah.
So I think
my only question about them is they do seem a little undersized for your size of your head.
Just big brain, that's all it is. Yeah, so they're having a fire sale at the cemetery, so I found those. So
okay.
I think we might give it a couple of days, and I'll play around with them and see if I can use them properly and take them out for a spin and take some picking videos, I think. So
well, yeah, I look forward to that. That'll be interesting.
Yeah, so people seem to be enjoying picking videos, so sure, why not? We'll try those out. So keep an eye out for that.
Yes.
So now getting to the serious point of the podcast, which I absolutely hate. So Grumpy Granny, well, I don't hate this, what the topic is, but we're getting to the serious part. So Grumpy and Granny and I, we want to talk a little bit about Chris Furlong.
Yes, we do.
He has bad hair.
And so his channel name is CLFurlong.
Yeah, he has bad hair.
Yeah.
So that's all.
He's got lovely hair.
So that's all we're going to say. So he's got bad hair. Okay, next topic. What are we talking about next? So Chris is doing a charity drive for a charity called Backpack for Vic Kids. Is that what it's called, Rennie?
That's what it's called. Yes.
So from my understanding is that if you find him a couple of Vic Kids, he'll give you a backpack. Is that what the general gist is?
No, that's not what it is. So it's a charity
I better give John's kids back then.
You better give John's kids back. Yes, they would fit in a backpack, I think, both of them.
So I was looking forward to a couple of shiny backpacks.
Yes. So the charity is for kids that are removed from their homes and put into foster care, and so that they give them a backpack full of all personal things, so they've got something. Because oftentimes when that happens, the kids don't get to take anything from their homes. So they don't have any personal stuff, and this backpack is filled with stuff that's just for them that they get to keep and take with them, and it really helps people out, like helps the kids, cope with the situation a bit better.
Yeah.
So it's a great charity.
Yeah, it's something that I obviously wouldn't be able to, I suppose, think of in my wildest dreams of what these poor kids would be going through at that certain time. So basically, like I said, that Chris is doing a phenomenal job. He actually volunteers for there once a week, I think, as well. So he helps pack the backpacks. He knows what's going on. It's a charity that he believes in. He's actually trying to raise $10,000 by September. I think it's towards the end of September. He's having a charity event as well. So if you're able to, jump on his channel, have a bit of a research about what he's doing, and if you're able to, just donate a couple of dollars to a fantastic charity. So
it is. We're halfway there, so we're over the $5,000 mark. So yeah, it's brilliant. And he does a live stream every Wednesday, where he gives away Pokemon cards and other things. So you can go you can either buy tickets to go in the raffle, and all that money goes towards the charity, and you can win prizes from that. And he also does some free spins. So all you have to do is turn up and register your name, and you could win a prize.
And I have noticed that a lot of international people in his group chats as well. In the live chats as well. So it is. I would assume that it would be open to it's the international market as well. So
I believe
it's
so.
Definitely worthwhile charity to get behind if you obviously. If you're that way inclined and you've got the ability to help, a couple of dollars here and there will definitely go far. All right, getting on to listen to you whinge and bitch and carry on for the next 20 minutes. So what's grinding your gears this week?
Well, you are actually grinding my gears this week. Surprise. So what is the story? Like twice now when I've gone into a live stream and you've been a moderator, which is supposed to be the person that's keeping the chat in check and keeping everybody doing the right thing, and you've kicked me out before the chat's even started.
Well, I don't want any riffraff in there. Well,
please.
Like I was saying to Uncle Wayne, I think this chat's only big enough for one of our egos.
Yeah.
Well, in my defense,
you thought you were being funny, didn't you?
In my defense, I thought I was being hilarious, and further in my defense, I am. So everyone gets a good laugh out of it, and they don't have to listen to Grumpy Granny for the next 300 seconds. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And that's a very long time when you're sitting there not being able to, and you're watching all the chat, and you're wanting to comment, and you can't.
Everyone that matters, Granny. So if that's only me laughing, guess what? Yes. So what else has been grinding your gears? Just that?
Just that. That was the big key player this week, yes.
Yes. Because I think my reign of terror is ending, because I think Uncle Wayno said last night he's promoting you to moderator.
Well, so he should. Yes. Good idea, I think.
With the frequency of his shows.
Could be 6 months before I get to do it then.
I was about to say, you might get your revenge in 3.5 years. Hopefully you're still upright and breathing then, so that's good.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah, so I don't think really anything's grinding my gears this week, other than, old people walking in the middle of the road in car parks. And my personal favourite, and I did say this on Wayno's show last night, is that when you go shopping, people just decide to have a chat in the middle of the aisle and block the aisle off. But what they do, though... go on. They wait till you're right behind them. They don't stop. They don't come to a gradual stop. They just go, full stop. Then they just have a chat.
Well, you see, if you were human, you would understand, because that's people just being nice and friendly and saying "G'day, how are you?" and having a little chat.
No, it's an inconvenience to the octopus.
It's human nature.
It's an inconvenience. So. Little background story. I was in Costco yesterday, because you can blend right in with the freaks at Costco. It's almost as bad as Walmart. It's just going to the point where I was doing my war cry and just going full speed ahead. And I collected a couple of kids in the way.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did they fit in your backpack?
No. These are damaged goods now, so they won't get as much. They won't get as much, but. No, I think my body count after I left Costco was about 6 or 7 people. So,
my goodness!
You just need to set an example, Granny. Once you do it to 1 or 2 people, the rest of them will catch on to what's going on. And you're quite surprised how quickly people move out of the way of an octopus pushing a trolley.
Oh, I could well imagine that would be funny. Yes.
But I think that's quite light on for being the disgruntled octopus, and that's the only thing that's disgruntled me this week. But I think that's pretty much the only thing I've got this week, actually.
So how is your world domination going? Have you, what?
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Any places in particular that you want to talk about?
Yeah, see.
Well, you did tell us about the tree octopuses there not long ago.
The Pacific Northwest.
Yes.
I haven't visited them yet, so I'm in the process of visiting.
Right. Yeah, so you haven't found any other new species yet?
No. So if you are in the Washington area in the States, send me some pictures of your Pacific Northwest octopuses. So
yes, I'd like to see them because I can't quite imagine them how they manage climbing trees.
Yeah, so for those who haven't heard, there's a very, very, very elusive octopus in the Pacific Northwest in the Washington Ranges called the Pacific Northwest tree octopus. They actually live in trees. So they go down for a bit of a water bath, and they crawl up the tree and sunbake and rinse and repeat. So they're living the high life.
Wow. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, so not too bad, but I suppose we better. Oh, this is why you don't work with old people. They don't know how to turn their phones off.
Well, I did have it turned off, but the alarm still. Yeah, I've got to turn the alarm off. Time for my meds.
That's right. That's exactly right. Yeah. Although I was in a live stream yesterday, and there's I think some recreational stuff going on in the background because this one person was a bit high on life, if you know what I mean.
Oh, really?
Yes. He's hopefully he wasn't sampling the local mushroom patch in the front of his yard.
May have been.
Yeah, so he was
magic mushies.
He was aloof. I'll put it that way. Yeah, so he was a bit. But speaking of the Pacific Northwest tree octopus, I think we better get on to this week's octopus. We better get on to this. We better get on to this week's topic. We're almost 24 minutes in, or 28 minutes in. Jeez, we've been dribbling and flapping our gums about bloody Reseller's hair.
Well, you have.
Yeah. Well, I'm just jealous. I've got no hair, and I think someone a couple of weeks ago, someone had a go at my eyebrows. I don't body shame anyone.
Yeah, what's happened to the eyebrow lift? Because still only got one done. What happened to the other one?
Well, things have been tight in the world domination aspiration sector. So,
have they? Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I
before we do go into the topic, I have got my little show and tell that I thought the viewers might like to see. And it's on my phone, so I just have to angle it the right way. Can we see that?
You might need to raise the contrast. Looks like a naked old man at the beach.
Okay, here we go. So this is what you see up the main street of Donald.
That's Grumpy Granny with two men.
No, it's not. That is an alpaca walking up the main street.
Did you use any alpaca jokes, like alpaca lunch?
No, I didn't actually. Yes, no. I was in too big a hurry. I had to get to a few op shops to buy a few things to resell on eBay.
I hear alpacas hate those alpaca jokes as much as people hate dad jokes. So they might have spat at you, I think.
Yeah, well, and you're not good at it either.
No. That's why I prefer world domination.
Yeah, I wonder if they make octopus jokes. Better check.
I don't know.
And so my other question before we do head into thing is I need to ask you, what is your taste in music? What sort of music does the octopus listen to?
I really don't know. I don't really listen to music, but I'm quite fond of death music and Henry the Octopus from the Wiggles.
Right. Okay. So you don't listen to any rap music?
No. More death metal and Henry the Octopus.
Okay, well, you're not going to be any help because Grumpy Granny's been asked to do a rap song, and I don't know who the people are that. So they told me to listen to artists like Rap Dog or Rap God or something, and I can't even find anything on those.
Well,
so maybe you could. You could.
I'll have to make sure I put those back in where I found them after I finished with them.
Oh dear. What is the world coming to?
Not much. So, rap, you sure it wasn't Snoop Dogg?
Yeah, no, because they were talking about Eminem, and then they told me they'd like to see me do Rap Dog or Rap God. And so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, maybe Snoop Dogg, because I know he hangs out with old ladies.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah.
So I have to come up. Yeah, so I have to come up with a rap song.
Well, I think that someone should tag him in this video and see if we can get Snoop Dogg to hang out with this old lady.
Yeah, that'd be good. Perhaps he could teach me to rap.
I've never listened to any of his music, so maybe you might be able to teach him how to rap. I don't know.
Maybe. Maybe I could teach him to sing the Balls of O'Leary.
I don't know. Maybe he's speaking enough about balls. I don't know. So before we lose our viewership entirely, I think we should talk about this week's topic. I think we should talk about the eBay myths and legends of reselling.
I
was going to dress up as a ghost, but I think that being an octopus probably fits into that myths and legends.
Yes, true. So you could have put a sheet over your head.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I didn't want to send the wrong impression to our overseas friends. Because I'm the only one that seems to do anything around here. So I did a bit of research into YouTube, Facebook, the interwebs, and everything else like the dark web. I don't recommend researching on the dark web. You find some really spooky stuff on there. So that's where I actually got these hands from, to tell you the truth.
Oh, did you? Off the dark web?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's where I found where they could go. So basically, we found a few topics that keep coming up. So we're going to talk about those today. We're basically going to give our point of view as to what we think and what we, I suppose, see in our stores regarding these topics. So by no means is it, the beginning and the end all, or we're subject matter experts on these topics. But we've had a bit of experience, I suppose from our point of view as to what we think about it. So take it with a grain of salt, and obviously if it can work for you, well and good. If it doesn't work for you, we don't care. But I suppose we better put the caveat that we're in Australia, right? So basically, I don't think a lot of people talk about it, but I don't think there's just one algorithm on eBay. I think there's an algorithm that's quite slightly, tempered to the market that they're actually selling in. Yes. So if I
agree with that one because people mightn't realise, but in Australia we get to test a lot of the new things on eBay, and some things get sent then used over to the UK and the US. Some things don't because they don't work very well.
That's right.
So no comment.
No, but I suppose my reasoning for thinking there's more than one algorithm is because of the different eBay sites, right? So you've got we know about the eBay, which is the US site, the Australian site, and the UK site, which we're probably focusing on. If there was one algorithm to this octopus's mind, there would be one eBay site that would just obviously slice the traffic up to where it is. So you would just type in what you're looking for, and then we'll go best match and work out across the sphere from that.
Yes.
So I think that like Brenny was saying, we're actually the testing ground for a lot of the eBay, things that they're looking to roll out. Good, bad, or indifferent. We get to trial.
We get to test it first.
Yeah, so
we're a good smaller market than the US and the UK because even though we're a big land size, our population's not as big, so it's a good size for eBay to test out on and see if things work.
So that's pretty much the caveat we're going to say is that we I suppose we're a different entity, right? So what we try here and what we're talking about here might not be relevant across the pond in the UK and the US markets. However, that it potentially might be coming your way, or it might be relevant. So this is just what we've observed in our stores, right? So we're going to talk about our first topic is listing every day. So a lot of the YouTubers love this topic. It's always what they always go back on is that you should be listing X amount of product a day. That was what generates sales. What's your thoughts on this, Granny?
I quite agree with that. I found since I started being consistent and listing every day that my sales increased. So I go with that one.
So do you?
What about you?
I'm a bit skeptical of this one, right? So basically, I think depending on the market you're looking at, what market you're dealing with, and if you're dealing within brand new replenishable items or brand new items or second-hand items, depending on how you play with these different things. So obviously, if you're selling in a replenishable space, that means that you can get stock and have it on a constant, like a multi-quantity listing, I find that one of my stores is one of those, so it doesn't need to be listed every day, and I still generate sales on that. Right. Last night when I was in Uncle Wayno's chat, Tom, which is famous from the Back from Burnout duo, so Mel and Tom, he said something that kind of resonated with me. It's more, I believe, and he said it as well, is that it's activity in your store that generates the traffic. So I don't think listing every day is what basically tickles the algorithm. I think it's more activity, because what we were talking about before as well, Granny, is that people get into their minds that they need to list anything. So that a lot of these big YouTubers are saying you need to list every day. These people are picking up junk to list it just to meet that listing goal, because they're under the impression that they need to list. So therefore, like all these different things. So I'm quite partial to what Tom was saying. I might be completely off. Listing might be the one, but I think it's a point system, right? So basically, every action that you do on eBay probably has a point attributed to it. So that if you list it, might give you like a +1 point. If you get a 9 ad, you might get -6 points. And obviously, the traffic that's pushed towards you obviously goes off that point system. That's the way I think it works. If I'm not here next week, I'm probably right, and eBay's taking me out.
Probably, that could happen. Yeah. And look, there is probably something to that, definitely, because I know when I do edit a lot of my older listings and drop prices and things on those, like that does create traction. And even times when I've gone in and done a lot of editing on my postal policies, say, that has given me, well, it seems to have given me a bit of traffic.
And it all could be just like, a placebo effect, right? So, you do something at eBay and then you get a sale and you just attribute it to that. What it comes down to, right? And a lot of the big YouTubers that, delve in this space talk about the same thing. It's actually the quality of your items. There's no use listing crap that no one
100% agree with that.
And, because, you'll get all the sales. If you've got something that's in demand and it's priced well and, the people want it, it will sell. And, and then what will happen? And what I'm finding is that people on Facebook saying, I had fantastic sales on the weekend, but now it's gone to crap. It's probably all your good items in your store have probably been sold out and you've got nothing left. You've only got garbage. So I think that...
and I do agree with that, because, I mean, it's great to say, yes, list every day and be consistent, and that is good, and it's good for your store, but not if you're listing crap items. You need to be listing quality items.
And I think they refer to them as gold-plated items over there, a lot of the YouTubers that I've seen.
Right, okay.
So basically they have different kind of levels of items. So, your grails, or the ones that are in high demand, would be probably a gold-plated item where they sell almost instantly. And you work your way down to that. But realistically, I think it's a case of having a quite hard look at your store and saying, hey, well, look, I bought this in a fit of passion. It's not necessarily something that it's in vogue anymore, or is not very popular. It might be time to delist and move on, and then free that space up from there.
Yeah.
So I do think that everyone's allocated a certain allocation of traffic at time, and we'll talk about this in one of the later subjects. But that's where I think that if you clean out your store and just make it basically as close to gold-plated as you can, you're not wasting that allocation of traffic, if that's the case.
Yeah.
Moving on to the next one, sell similar. This is another one that people love to do.
That's a ripper, isn't it?
That's almost you use this as a keyword in your YouTube video, you get 400,000 views.
Yeah, well, maybe we should use that as a keyword in this one, or put it as the title and the thumbnail.
Well, I reckon what we're going to do is we'll have me, and I'll just duplicate two versions of me, and I'll just go sell similar.
Sell similar, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. So what's your thought on sell similar?
Look, I think it's a good thing. It doesn't hurt to do it, but I don't rely on it. Like, it can give you a little bit of a boost, but it's a false boost, isn't it? If it gives you a little bit more, traffic, and look, if I do a sell similar, I'm usually adjusting my price because that item hasn't sold anyway. So I'm actually bringing the price down, and it's probably more the reason it sells is because I have actually adjusted the price, not necessarily because I did a sold similar.
Yeah, so the three people out there that don't know what a sell similar is when you terminate a listing or when you end a listing, it basically goes into your old unsold listings. I think that's what the area is. Instead of relisting the item, which gives it the same item number and all the traffic, it creates a brand new listing. So for incentive purposes, that eBay thinks it's a brand new listing, and I think a lot of people they use the sell similar function as getting out of their listing. So like going back to what we were previously saying is that it gives you that positive push in action, or there's some stuff going on in your store, so you basically got that movement going in your store. eBay's giving you theoretically giving you some bonus points for traffic and all those different things. But like Benny was saying, because like you're saying is that if it's crap, you're still selling the same stuff. So
well, I also think if you don't alter it in some way, shape or form, whether that's the price or one word, even changing one word in the title, if you don't change the order of the pictures, I think after a period of time, the algorithm on eBay recognises that it's still exactly the same as what you had there before.
All right. So the octopus is going to be very controversial here. I don't think the algorithm's that smart. I don't. I think a lot of people give eBay a lot more credit than they do, because the amount of glitches, the amount of issues that are going on, that would be like, the octopus could probably fix it, right? You can't tell me that $1 billion algorithm, is for something that a site falls over like this, the algorithm is smart enough to differentiate this. I think obviously there's markers on photos, right? There'll be like text markers that are falling over, but eBay probably would purge that data after a period of time, or do they even cross-reference that data? Because I don't think.
Yeah, they may not.
I don't think they would. They would have that data there, right? So basically, that photo signature would be just say XYZ. And when that new listing from the sell similar comes up, that signature of XYZ would still be there, but I don't think the algorithm would make the connection personally. I just think that it's treating it as a new listing and going from there. Like, I know there's some talk about shadow bans. I don't really agree. I still think the same for that. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. I've been out of water too long. I think that the algorithm is not that smart enough to shadow ban people. Like, it's probably looking for keywords like Vero words or illegal words or illegal items that you're not supposed to be selling. But I don't think that it would be smart to say, hey, look, Grumpy Granny listed this hair rollers yesterday and the exact same hair rollers now, because it would be just looking at the listing number. It'd be just going off that.
And look, talk with the shadow ban too. Like, honestly, if you have got your oldest 30 items that haven't sold in the last 30 days and you end them all and then you just do a straight sell similar, well, if they didn't sell in the previous 30 days, what makes you think they're going to sell in this 30 days? Like, you're probably not getting the activity because there's still crap listings.
Well, the thing is, though, right, like, eBay pushes stuff down, right? Because when things become stale, it pushes it further down. But not necessarily all crap items that aren't selling. Yeah, you might have things that are very, 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 very niche that person particularly looking for and might be only on once every 3 months. So you're almost doing like a lottery that, you're putting a lottery ticket in by sell similar to hopefully that person that wants that item's on that time. And obviously, your item gets that new listing boost up to the top of the thing. So, I normally rejuvenate, probably 10 to 15% of my store a week through sell similar. So I've got about 1,600 items at the moment. So work that math out because I can't be bothered. I'm not going to incriminate myself with having a guess.
Okay, so octopuses aren't any good at maths. Okay.
No. We just world domination.
Okay.
And this octopus is not even very good at that. But like I was saying, is that I think, depending on what before you go willy-nilly, sell similar on things, you probably want to have a bit of a look to see what it is. Maybe isolate it down to 50 items. Then go, hey, realistically, out of that 50 items, 37 are crap. There might be stuff that are torn or ripped or stained or whatever you sell. It might be just worth, not redonating them if they're not worthy of redonating, but just taking them off eBay and work from there. So I think that's probably the best. But I don't think that eBay is shadow banning, and I don't think sell similar is a bad thing because it's giving you that activity in your store. Yeah.
Oh, look, I quite agree. I do 5 a day. I actually do sell similar on 5 a day, and it's good. It gives me a chance to have a look at those items and refresh anything and perhaps change a few keywords and have a look at the title and make sure it's right. And even with the photos, like, because of some of my earlier listings, my photos perhaps weren't great, and some of them just need a new photo for that very front main photo, and that can be enough to sell it, make it sell.
Well, and that's exactly right. Like, you said if you rejuvenate the listing, because at the start when you were starting, you mightn't have been very good with title, keywords, or like you said, the photos. If you update those when you do it, you might find it's a more attractive item that's gone from something that's like looks like crap into something that's very, very popular and something will sell. The next topic, traffic. This is the thing that sends me batty crazy. So basically, people are saying that eBay doesn't like them and they're not giving them any traffic. And I think
it's a big topic right now. People are making YouTube videos about it, posting on Instagram about it, posting in Facebook groups about it. Like, it's everywhere. And, even in a couple of the groups I'm in, that's what they're talking about. It seems to be the biggest topic at the moment. And, do
you think eBay is limiting traffic? Or do you think that...
it's hard to say, because at the moment I'm finding eBay is a bit glitchy. Like, sometimes I'll press enter, and instead of what comes up, I'm getting, sorry, we can't find that. Or even on the Seller Hub, that middle screen with the little graph that shows your daily sales, that came up blank a couple of days ago. So I think part of it is, I think they're doing a little bit of tweaking and fiddling in the back end of the, eBay platform. And we may find out what they're doing at some point, because they'll introduce something new or some changes will be made all of a sudden. So I think that's part of it. And when they're doing that, I think that limits traffic. And I don't know. And then there are other times where I really do feel like they are limiting traffic.
So do you think they're limiting traffic, or do you reckon it's preferential traffic? So, if I'm paying for promoted listings standard or advanced or offsite ads, do you reckon that they're giving me more traffic because I'm generating them more revenue?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I think because there's a big push on for them at the moment to get people to do that advanced promoted listings. And I think, if you're not doing that, there are times when you're going to get, a little bit limited traffic compared to the people that are paying that. And, they're paying big dollars for it.
Yeah. And I don't, and being a secondhand seller, I probably don't think it would be advantageous to do promoted listing advanced. It's for layman's terms, it's, pay per click. So someone clicks on your ad, you pay it a percentage, maybe 13 or 14 cents for every time someone clicks on your ad. So that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to sell it, as if you're running a tally.
So do you actually know anyone that has used it or is using it?
No one that's told me. I don't really know that many people that are selling, I suppose, high-level replenishable things. That they probably would be, if they got a bit of a profit margin, they could probably, spend that allocation. But from a second-hand point of view, like, I think it would be a death knell for a
absolutely.
Yeah. So don't recommend. I think promoted standard is just here to stay, right? Because eBay's seen it as a cash cow. You can't get around that. So you probably need to look at a rate that you're comfortable with, and then go from there.
And you just have to accept that that's part of the fees, basically, that you pay to have a store on eBay, which still, as I say, as much as people can grumble about the fees all they like, it's nothing like what it would cost you to have a brick and mortar store. So,
well, that's exactly right. You just have to be more conservative when you look at, when you're thrifting, looking for prices. If you apply a 25% rule or a 20% rule to your item, say, hey, look, I can sell this for $40. 20% of that's $8. That's what I'm going to potentially lose, and work your way back from there.
Yes.
So you want to be probably more mindful of how you're sourcing, I suppose, because you're not going to get out of it.
Absolutely correct. You need to know what your limit is, so that if you're a person that is selling jumpers and going to sell them at a certain figure, you need to know what the maximum amount that you can pay for in the op shop is, or the thrift store, or the charity store.
Yeah, or the booty.
Or in the bins.
Yes, that's right. We'll just keep going around throwing words out. Look at us, all refined.
Yeah, garage sales. Whoa.
Yeah, that's right. I haven't been to a garage sale yet. I'll have to surprise some people in the local area. Postage. Do you think free, paid, express? What's your thought on postage?
Okay, so my recommendation for other people, for newbies especially, is to try both. You try doing free post and do it for a month at least, and then you try doing plus post and do that for a month and work out what's best for you. Personally, for me, I've done both. I've done my experimentation, and now I'm doing plus post on everything, and that's a much better model for me. But each person has to work out what's best for themselves.
That's right. Yeah, so I agree with Granny, unfortunately. I think that
that's a change.
I'll put a caveat on it, right? So you really need to know your niche. You need to know your market. So if your competition's doing free postage, that's what you're stuck with, right? You're not going to compete with them if you go to plus postage. If they're plus postage, I strongly suggest that you probably jump on that bandwagon as well. Don't offer free postage because they'll eat into your profit margins. Why I personally prefer to do plus postage for is because if I'm trying to make multiple items to be sold, I can combine postage. So then that I'm potentially saving that by a little bit of cash, but then also I can make a sale of 3 or 4 items where someone offering free postage couldn't do that because in essence their item would be 4 or 5 times more expensive than mine. Yeah. But definitely need to know your niche, see what's the the lay of the land is in regards to free post and or paid postage. Idealistically, in a perfect world, everything would be plus postage. Yeah. And I think the pendulum is probably swinging that way to be honest.
Yeah. And I think too, it depends on what you're selling too. Like for me, because I do books, normally you would say books, everyone that does books has to do free post because that's what the bulk of people do. However, the bulk of what the books that I sell aren't your average everyday cookbook or, the more modern books. I sell vintage and antique books. And so I can actually, because I might be the only person in the world with that book, I can actually still do plus post and get away with it.
That's exactly the point. And that's something that came up with last night on Wayno's channel is that, there's a bookseller out there that's having some problems with, competing with these competition for books. I didn't delve that far into it, but if you ask to hazard a guess, they probably are just getting, your very stock standard run of the mill books that, a dime a dozen from the thrift store, which other people are selling as well for, and it really comes down to, and, CLFurlong said last night as well, it depends on what you're sourcing it. If you're paying $4 for that book, where Grumpy Granny's getting it for 10 cents or for free, that's something that you need to work out personally and say, hey, look, I can't survive in this niche on this current arrangement. Yeah. Is there something else I can, potentially branch into, or alternatively, can I find the source and get the books for 10 to 15 cents each? Then becoming more competitive from that perspective.
So absolutely.
I think that's something you need to be very mindful of. Is like I was saying last night as well, is that with Uncle Wayno, him being very attuned to DVDs, so he knows exactly which ones to look for, and go through that. And with CLFurlong with his niche, and yourself with yours, your stuff. You're not just going into a thrift store, grabbing an armful, and hoping for the best.
Well, I did try the whole DVD thing, going into a thrift store and getting them cheap, and or a garage sale and getting them cheap. But honestly, the effort that it was taking to actually find some decent ones. Not worth it. And, it's probably one of those items too that people want that either free post or really cheap post. And so therefore they want to do it untracked. I don't send anything untracked. So I didn't want to do that.
You'll ruin our next topic.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, geez. So we're going to move into INADs and items not received. So basically... So what Granny was just alluding to then is free postage. So, if you're selling low-cost items, you might need to sell it, untracked, I suppose, to be competitive in that market. So now go for your rant.
Well, you can put it in an envelope, normal plain envelope, and put a stamp on it and send a DVD like that. And you're taking that risk of put it in the slot at the post office or hand it over. It's not scanned, it's not tracked. So if it doesn't arrive the other end, what do? You can't go back and say, well, Australia Post lost my thing and find out where it got lost and get them to find it, or get Australia Post to give you a refund because they lost it. If you send something untracked, that's it. You take that risk. And a lot of people, the DVD sellers, do that, but that wasn't a model that I could follow. So, yeah, I got out of DVDs for that reason.
Yeah, and it really comes down to, we'll put it this way, like 99.9% of the stuff that goes through Australia Post, or probably any postal network in the world, will be delivered, right? It's really the integrity of the person on the receiving end to say what they received it or not. And it's come to the point where a lot of sellers, myself included previously, became a bit skeptical or a bit jaded or a bit disgruntled even, that, people were basically using the item not received as a get out of jail free card, like to get free items out of eBay, because the seller doesn't have a foot or a tentacle to stand on. That
exactly.
They basically.
Look, I've sold 2 things in my eBay career that I sent untracked, and I got bitten by both of them. The first person said they didn't receive it. I had no recourse, so I had to refund them. The second person, unfortunately, actually deliberately went through my store and found probably the only thing I had listed at the time that was untracked, bought that, said he didn't receive it, and kicked up and made a big hullabaloo. And I had given him bad feedback on something I'd purchased from him. So he was actually using it as a revenge so that he could threaten me with, that he was going to leave me bad feedback and, all this sort of stuff. And, won't do that again.
So not one of the topics, but we'll give you a bonus one for free. So I strongly suggest that you use a selling account and you use another account for buying. Don't let the two become cross-contaminated for that exact reason. So if you do have something that, a transaction doesn't go well with the seller, or even a buyer for that matter, that, they can't put 2 and 2 together. So that they're not going to.
So why didn't you tell me that before?
Because I just wanted you to suffer.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, so that's something I would strongly suggest, is having a buying account and also having a selling account. And don't name them the same thing. Don't name Grumpy Granny.
I agree.
Grumpy Granny
and don't use the same picture either. I know someone that did that. A lesson learnt, big lesson learnt for me. Yeah,
so that's something that be very careful about. INADs, I don't know what they are. Basically, what they're saying is that they didn't receive the item that was described. You're not going to win an INAD. That's pretty much my takeaway from the whole situation. You just need to be very, very careful. Make sure you take very detailed photos. Very elaborate in your description and your title, if it so fits. Take items. Take very. Very, very good photos. That's good English for you. Good photos of any flaws or defects in the item, and obviously spell it out in the description. eBay will 99% of the time, side with the buyer for an INAD, right? So realistically, and this is something we'll touch into with when I roll into returns, is that you're better off accepting the INAD because your store will come to a complete stop.
Absolutely.
So that's going back to my point-based system when I was talking earlier, is that, if a listing gives you a +1, an INAD or a return probably gives you a -10. So you need to be in the positive, probably in the positives to sell.
And look, a return because the buyer has changed their mind or because it doesn't fit when they get it, because I do free returns, especially, you've got to do that with clothing because you want people to be happy. And I have had some of those because someone's bought something and, didn't fit. And that, look, I could say, well, why didn't you check the measurements? I had the measurements in the listing. But look, we accept that people don't necessarily always do that. But I think, having a return like that gives you a bit of a slowdown until it's sorted. If you get an INAD, on the other hand, which is the person saying that is not the item that you listed or item not as described, it's completely different. I've had one of those in my career, and that was very early on, and I listed a jumper. To me, it looked like it was khaki green. Well, she got it and reckoned it was brown, so that was a colour thing, and that's a personal interpretation, but I had no recourse. One of those things. You got no recourse because it is personal interpretation of what one person looks at it and sees. I mean, there wasn't a flaw in it. It was just the colour. So yeah, you're just better off sorting that out as quickly as you can. Accept the return, get it back, refund.
That's right.
Get it over and done with.
So I don't. I suppose moving into the returns thing is that, a lot of people will debate, free returns or no returns or buyer pay returns, right? So depending on your niche again, but the Octopus, and by the sounds of Grumpy Granny as well, is that we offer free returns, right? Because realistically, the buyer will return the product regardless if you have returns on or not. And if they're potentially looking at being out of pocket because they've changed their mind, the reason that they'll use will change. So it will basically change from, change of mind or doesn't fit to item not as described. So then you get a slight slap over the wrist because it's a return, regardless if it's your fault or not. eBay does somewhat punish you, that we found with our stores. But obviously, if you offer free returns, you can basically reach out to the buyer and say, hey, look, if it doesn't fit or it doesn't, your batteries don't fit or whatever you're selling, you're more than welcome to return it. Just obviously change your mind or something along the lines of that. But as soon as they're in the court thinking that they can't return it because you don't accept returns or buyer pay returns, you'll find your INADs will go up exponentially.
Absolutely.
So we're not saying to accept returns. Obviously, that's something that your business model probably needs to incorporate in the long term if you are looking at making it an ongoing business. But I would strongly suggest that if you can't afford to take the returns, you need to rethink that niche.
Oh, absolutely. Because the thing is, if you get that INAD, it just stops. Your store basically stops. As far as sales go. And I've seen it time and time again happen to people, and just accept the returns. And
what you could do as well, right? So basically, I'm not too sure about INADs, but with a return, you'll find that the traffic will die off pretty much straight away, and then it will slowly eke back over the next couple of days.
Yes.
A buyer has 30 days to return the item, so potentially that could affect your store for 30 days. So we're not saying that everyone is a scammer or anything along the lines of that, but that would be a very menacing way of taking out your competition, buying an item, claiming it's not as described, or you want to do a return, then waiting the 30 days before you return it. So that's something you need to be very mindful of, and obviously communicate with the buyer and say, hey, look, as soon as you pop it in the mail, I'll refund you straight away if you've got that business model, or, is there something that can assist? Or, it might even be just a case of saying, hey, look, this is the way it affects my store. If you return it to me, close the return, I'll refund it. As long as you've got some... as long as you've got, sturdy feedback behind you. If you got the feedback score of 3, I probably wouldn't recommend that approach.
That's true.
So,
and look,
obviously...
there are, and, just for newbies to be aware, there are people out there that will contact you and say that there's something wrong with the item. And basically what they're trying to do is to get you to refund them without them sending them back, or get a partial refund for them to keep them. Because that's a quick and easy way to get it all sorted, isn't it? There's a mark on here. You didn't say that in the listing. Don't ever hide any flaws or anything that is in anything, because that gives that person, they can say, well, there's a mark there. And, you might be able to sort it out by giving them a $10 refund and they keep the item. But, it's just not worth it. Like, just make sure everything's covered, that you've taken photos of everything.
That's right. And Grumpy Granny and I were discussing before is that your stock photo, not stock photo, but the photo that you use to represent your item, the glamour shot for your main photo, make that as pretty as you can. But your first photo in the gallery after that one should be any blemishes or any issues with that item. That will pretty much put you in a better place, because buyers probably look at the first couple of photos and go, that looks good, or that will fit me, and go from there. But if you've got the photo with the backside ripped out as the last photo, you've really got no one to blame but yourself, because regardless of not, you are trying to hide that fact there is a blemish or something wrong with that garment or with that product that you're selling.
And especially if you're like me, like I take a lot of photos. Like some items of clothing that I do that are quite detailed might actually have 24 photos. But it's also my experience that I don't necessarily think the majority of buyers look through every 24 photos. I mean, if I was buying something, I would, because I would want to be knowing exactly what I'm buying. But I think my experience is that people probably look through the first 4 to 6.
And they probably romanticize about the item, right? Especially if it's a nostalgic reason behind buying it. Is that they're like, oh, this is when I was a kid, I used to have like a toy octopus, and this is the exact same toy octopus 30 years later. And they might expect you to, that octopus that you're selling, which is in acceptable condition, and they might be seeing it as like mint condition. And when it arrives in the condition that you've stated and you photographed, that buyer might be like, well, this is nothing like my octopus I had when I was a kid. Obviously the issue lays with them, but in eBay's eyes, it's up to the seller. It's the seller's fault, and the seller needs to rectify it. So that's something you need to be mindful of.
And I also I think you should actually, whether it's in the actual condition or in your description, you do need to specify that there are issues, that there is a hole there, or there is a pull in that jumper. Don't just say, oh, condition is per photos.
Because you're not, you'll be saving time on the front end where you think you are, but you're doing yourself a disservice. And if you are looking at removing negative feedback or neutral feedback through the automated system, that's not going to cut it. You're not providing it, and it's getting a lot harder to remove feedback. So you really want to be as clear and transparent as you are, and that if that kind of buyer that is nefarious and they're doing that because they know they've got you on tender hooks, that's you kind of want to cancel that buyer out of the equation before they send an offer through. So just be mindful of that. I think we're going to talk about wholesale versus thrifting, but I think we might talk about that in a different topic all itself. We might do that for a future topic, actually. So stay tuned for a future episode on thrifting versus wholesale. I think that might be an interesting.
I think that will be very, very interesting topic
to sink our tentacles into.
It was suggested to Grumpy Granny not so long ago that perhaps because I sell jeans and I probably sell more women's jeans than men's jeans, but that's probably more because I'm listing more women's jeans than men's jeans. But I did wonder at one stage whether I should just niche down into the women's jeans. And I'm still a little bit undecided. And someone did suggest to me that, well, perhaps I could do that. And then when I come across good men's jeans, I could keep them and then I could wholesale them. So.
So we'll talk about that in a future episode, I think, because, it's definitely a lot of flesh on that bone to discuss, because there's pros and cons either side, right? So I think bit of a teaser that I think that the wholesale market will be the flavor of the month coming up. So everyone will be
next big thing.
That's right. So which will crash the wholesale market, and everyone will have crap. It'll be thrift store prices. But we'll talk about that in a future episode. Briefly, we've got YouTubers. Do you think YouTubers are ruining reselling? I know we touched on this one topic previously, but do you think that they get everything? Do you reckon YouTubers get preferential treatment because?
Oh no, not at all. I think most of the. Well, it depends who it is, but I think a lot of times when the YouTubers going into a lot of the shops, people don't know who they are.
No, Well, they don't know who I am.
Well, certainly would know who you were.
That's exactly right.
Well, I mean, apart from yourself, and there might be the odd one or two that people recognise, but I think people that work in the op shops, in the majority, are actually happy for you to come in because they know that you're going to buy a lot of stuff. And you're a good customer, and you come back all the time, so they're quite happy to have you in there.
Well, that's right. So, believe it or not, a lot of our thrift stores in Australia or op shops, they actually have targets, right? So that they've actually disclosed to the Octopus on the down low. They have targets. So, depending on how close they are to that target or how far away from that target they are that week, they might be more responsive to help you. So, these YouTube videos, we're trying to get out the back of the store, or I'm looking for cricket bags. Can you help me in regards to this? If they're really having a slow week, and it really comes down to knowing the people, right? So become friend. Don't you have to become friends, but you become friendly. Be somewhat humane to these people because they are doing they are working a job, and most of them are volunteers.
Most of them are volunteers. Yeah.
So become friendly with them, work your way up, use and abuse as you see fit. get to the manager, then work out if you can work a working relationship and say, hey, look, do you have this particular item I'm after? And, if they are desperate for, to meeting their target for that week, they may potentially let you out the back and say, hey, look, we've got a whole stash of cricket bags that have come out the back. So, do you want to come out and have a look? But be mindful is that it's a work health safety issue going out the back because, you need to be wearing the proper attire, be covered by their work cover so they mightn't possibly let you out the back of the bigger establishments. But, like I said, if you become friendly, the potentially for them to go out the back and look on your behalf might be escalated. So that's something you want to do as well.
Absolutely.
But
I have a couple of op shops in particular that I have developed relationships with, and one does me a great deal on bulk books at a cheaper price, and the other one on clothing, which, I probably go, the one on books I'm probably in there once a week, once a fortnight, and the other one I probably go to once a month. But they give me, like, for instance, I got a great haul of jeans there last week, and instead of paying $5, which is what they had them priced at, they sold them to me for $3 because I'd bought so many. So
and that's a lot of the smaller establishments, right? So if you're going to the Salvation Army or if you're going to St. Vincent's, they might not be that way inclined to give you a better price, but they might give you better stock. But
it depends on who is in there too, who's managing, because the one I said with the books, that is a Vinnie's, I will say, and they do me a fantastic deal on books. So no complaints.
So what do they say? Your mileage may vary.
My what? Sorry,
your mileage may vary. I think that's what they call it. So.
Yes.
But I suppose going back to the YouTuber question, I think that having a social media presence probably will assist you because obviously if people are aware of what you're selling, if people are looking to offsell a certain item or they're getting out of reselling in entirety, and they go, hey, look, I follow Grumpy Granny. I know she sells women's jeans and octopus hair rollers. I've got a whole bunch of those, and I'm going to reach out to her and sell it because, a lot of people do like blind advertisements on Facebook Marketplace and all these different things looking for these, but people don't have any emotional attachment to that person. They'll just go, I've got that, but I can't be bothered reaching out. But I like Granny. Granny's, I watch her on a weekly basis. I know she sells this. Subscribe to her YouTube channel.
And she teaches me lots of stuff about eBay. So I'd like to do this to help her out too. Yes.
Well, that's exactly right. So I think that you will get some sort of flow-on effect. It may not be a massive, but maybe a little bit of a competitive advantage if you are on a social media platform where you say, hey, look, I sell this product. And if you are looking at selling it or you don't want to sell it, reach out to me and we can go from there. So then that's
look, the other thing is too, I think a lot of the people in that are volunteers in the op shops, they are actually quite amused at the fact that, you make videos about op shops and have them on YouTube. Like that, they find the whole thing quite interesting and amusing.
Well, that's right. And just be mindful that, they particularly mightn't want to be on YouTube as well. So before you go there and thinking you're a current affair or, CNN trying to videotape everyone and try and make drug busts in the local salvos, maybe approach the subject with them and say, hey, look, do you mind if I film in here? I know people previously that, that the salvos or the op shop or the thrift store will put the music up on full blare so that, obviously YouTube triggers that. However, if they know you and they go, hey, look, I'm not going to photograph or video any of you people. I just want to video what I'm looking at. They may potentially turn the stereo down while you're in the store just to, to help you out in that regard as well. So, but like I said, just remember that they're somewhat human. They mightn't look human, But like I said, that you want to treat them with respect and help out, and obviously,
and be nice to nannies and grandmas that are in there.
Op shop nannies, you can't trust them as far as you can kick them. Trust me.
No, that you should be extra nice.
Yeah. So going back to that one, be nice to grandparents, be nice to op shop nans, be nice to the managers, and
run away from the octopuses.
Yes, that's exactly right. And
the white bands.
And have a social media presence. I think that's wrapping up close to the end of it, Granny. I think we've gone well over time.
Well, that was a big discussion, wasn't it?
I know, which is good.
We seem to have a lot to say this week.
I know. This octopus his throat's drying out. I think.
Yeah.
So I'll have to get back in the Octo team. But once again, before we go, we just want to rehash the CLFurlong thing. by all means, jump onto his YouTube channel, have a look at that, have a look at the charity. Not forcing you at gunpoint or tentacle point to donate, but if you obviously would like to help out.
Yeah, and you can donate via buying Pokemon cards or raffle tickets that might get you something back, or you can just donate. So and
there's tax donation options as well. So obviously, if you buy the Pokemon cards, you probably won't be able to write it off on tax unless you've got a very creative unless you've got a creative accountant. But like I said, if you
we should ask Ethan Rushock if he does that sort of accounting.
I don't know. Maybe donuts will sweeten our tongues.
Maybe.
But by all means, have a touch base with Chris and just reach out and probably just reach out directly. If you want to know some more about it, reach out to Granny. She'll give you his personal home number, so you can ring him at 3:00 in the morning. That's as well.
Correct. Yes, I can do that. So. I can put you in touch. Yes,
that's right. So before we go again, we've got our last notice. The next hostage will be rolling into the Octo there very soon. So we'll be.
Oh, don't we have to say hello to a few people though? That
we haven't finished yet.
Okay. That's all right. I didn't want you to not. Yeah,
no,
I didn't want you to miss them.
We're not going to forget them, but we want to remind people about the hostage next week. For the whole 2.5 people, for the whole 2.5 people that's still listening to us rambling.
Apparently I looked quite surprised when you brought the first one in, which I was, so it was true. Yeah.
So, I know I've said it 106 times already, but Leanne does not have any idea who the hostages are. She might clue onto it. She's not completely stupid if you reach out to her and say, "Hey, I want to be a hostage on the show." She mightn't be. She might gel onto that one. But the ones that directly come through me or I organise, I do not tell her in the slightest. So basically, that's a little bit of a ploy that we're playing. So basically, once they uncover themselves on the show, that's Leanne's first interaction with that because I have them behind in the green room. So the way that StreamYard uses the way we do is that the guests can't see who's behind the scenes. Yeah. So it's only me that can actually see them. So Leanne's reactions are 100% genuine. So
yes,
I'm not
that good of an actress.
That's why you're on here. That's why you're on here, not Deal or No Deal.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to do our shout outs now because, heaven forbid, Grumpy Granny doesn't get a shout out. So we've got lots of shout outs this week. We've got Bold Finds.
Yes.
So that's
James
from the UK. He's a loyal follower. One day we might even get the fan over there to kidnap him.
That would be good. Yes. No, he's rather nice. I quite like James.
Mm-hmm. So we've got
if you want to see how they, if you want to see like the UK how they do with their car boot sales, go and see his Bold Finds channel.
That's right, and make sure you put in the comments that they're called boot sales, not booties, because that infuriates me. I'll be changing my name to the Infuriated Octopus. We've got John the Reseller. I don't know.
Yes.
The Mr. T lookalike. Yeah. So
yes.
We've got him as well. Uncle Wayno.
Uncle Wayno, yes.
So he's got a parodic channel and also a movie channel that does movie reviews. So have a look at him. We'll list both these channels under the description. Life of a Reseller, Blake, with his bad facial hair.
Hello, Blake in Ballarat.
Yeah, so he's been very quiet with me. He doesn't talk to me anymore. So
doesn't he? Oh, maybe you offended him.
I think I've offended him, which is very uncharacteristic of me. Like offended him. So he's obviously must wear his heart on his sleeve. Recycle, relove, reused Australia, because obviously making the harder names to read out the way we go. I think they gave a poll hit on Instagram, don't they?
Yes, they do. Yes.
So we got them as well. We do like that.
And suggestion: shorten your name.
That's right. Just call it the RRRA.
That's it.
I think I prefer spell it in love. And lastly, but not least, my beloved Scotty G from Moderns and Memories, because he is a powerhouse in his niche. And if I've got a question regarding toys, I reach out to him, and he tells me to piss off. So.
Oh, yes. He's a funny chappy. He always likes to, throw a few funny lines at Grumpy Granny during the lives.
And I think we've got some people looking after us for lives as well. They want us to do some lives.
They do.
We'll have to have like maybe a special event live, I think, where maybe if we get to like 250 subscribers or something like that.
Yes.
So we're not just going to throw a live out there willy nilly. You have to work for it. So if you wanted us to do a live,
Very
you have to
true.
get us to 250 subscribers. We'll do a live.
Sounds like a good plan. Get us the subscribers, and then we'll do it.
That's right. And last before least, before we wrap this show up, we're going to do a new segment. So basically, we want to see your octopuses in the wild. So if you see an octopus in the wild, so basically if you see it in the op shop, the thrift store, the bins, the booties, the church sales, the yard sales, the garage sales, Brad and Jazz's warehouse. Yeah, if you're breaking into there. Tag us.
Yeah, it'd be fun to see how many people can find, because, and it doesn't have to just be a plushy one, it might be on a book or,
Don't take a screenshot of me and tag me in it. That doesn't count.
That doesn't count. Yeah.
No. So basically, so tag us, obviously, the Disgruntled Octopus, Grumpy Granny Flips. What's your Instagram name? Is that it?
Grumpy Granny Flipper.
Flipper, that's right. So, and also the hashtag worst reselling podcast ever.
So use all of those or just one of those?
Right. So depending on how popular that is, so obviously we'll start introducing it at the end of the video. So all those different things, and if we get some really good ones, we'll send some prizes out as well. So it doesn't matter where you are, we'll send it internationally if we get some good ones, and we'll we'll either send you an octopus plush or we'll send you some Tim Tams or whatever floats your boat.
And the octopus might even autograph it for you.
Yes, well, that's right. Well, I've got my new hands.
Yes, you could actually hold a pen and
that's right. I don't think you'd be holding too much in that, but we can try.
But you'd still have more luck than trying to hold it with your tentacles.
Well, that's right. That's exactly right. But I think that's wrapped us up for the 5th episode, Granny. What do you think?
Oh, it's pretty amazed. And it's a long one today. And, the fact that we've done 5 episodes now and, then next thing you know, we'll be recording the 6th one.
That's right. That's exactly what I was going to say. Yes. So, I'm looking forward to the hostage rolling in. I don't know. Well, they got big shoes to fill because, John the reseller did quite a performance.
He did do a good job, yes.
I was a bit concerned that he was having a fit, but he was just doing very theatrical.
Or had a big fur ball, yes.
Oh, that's right. Well, you don't know what's going on with these people these days. They try and use us for fame and popularity, and we think they're dying, and they're just trying to audition for Wicked the musical.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how someone else copes with the whole hostage situation.
Well, obviously by the white van, I think this person doesn't want to come back. But anyway, we'll see you next time.
Hooroo!
Bye. Oh, hang on. We got to roll it off. Roll it off. Keep smiling. And gone. Oh, it's still going. It's still going.
Would you stop?
It's really hard to steer with the tentacles. Bye.
Oh, okay. Yeah.